Hello and welcome back to another video in my series of Inventor Professional tutorials. If you've been following me before, you'll know that we have now made a piston top half and a piston bottom half, as well as a crankshaft. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, you should go back and watch those videos first. But today we're going to be making a piston head. So, the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make a new part. And we're going to make it standard millimeter, just like we've done previously. Now, once you've done this, we'll want to make a new 2D sketch. And choose any plane that you want. Then, we'll make a circle. And we'll make it 94 millimeters. Once that's done, we can just finish the sketch altogether. We don't need to add anything else to this sketch. Then, we simply extrude it 50 millimeters. Now, we're gonna want to make a sketch a bit differently this time. You see this sidebar here? Well, we're gonna make use of that now. So first, click Start 2D Sketch. But instead of clicking a plane on the model, you'll instead open the Origin folder and choose a plane from there. Because here are the planes that we could click on initially on the model. We can now still click on them, they're just hidden. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make sure that we click on a plane that's perpendicular to the cylinder we've made. Once this is done, you'll see that we are now in the sketch mode as usual. However, we're not actually on a plane, instead we're on a hidden plane, so we're straight through the model. However, this still works the same as the usual sketch mode. So, we're going to draw a line from the center point, and we're going to draw it 10 millimeters to the left. Then, we're going to draw a line from the very edge of the new yellow line that we got. And we're going to make it 40 millimeters straight down. If it doesn't snap, then you can simply type in 180 degrees instead. We're then going to add some arcs. So, under arc, you're going to find something that's named arc tangent. This is the arc we're going to work with. Choose that, and then click on the small 10 millimeter line we drew earlier, so that the green dot is in the direction of the longer line we drew. You'll now see that we're actually drawing a tangent from that part. However, something you'll realize is, if you zoom in, after adding it to the end of the previous line, is that we'll quickly see that it actually overlaps with the previous line. This is not something we desire. So, we're gonna have to delete that line and do something else instead. So, we'll just select that and press delete. Now, we'll then use another form of arc instead. So, under arc, you'll find arc center point. Click that, and simply place it so that it snaps to the edge of both of these lines. You'll see this indicated by the dark outlined dots. But you'll realize that this one doesn't even reach the top. We don't want this either. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a hybrid use of these. So we're going to type in 45 degrees, so we get the first line. And then we're going to select arc tangent again, click on the new arc we made, and snap that to the point we started with. And you'll now see that we have a good arc to work with. Now we're almost done with the model. We're going to need to make a single final adjustments. First, tighten the loop, meaning that you draw a line between those 2 points I just demonstrated, so we make sure that the loop is completely closed. Then we're going to draw another line, straight through the center of the cylinder. It doesn't matter how long this one is, just as long as it is in the center, it will work. Finish the sketch, and then we're going to use a feature we haven't used before, called Revolve. Now, Revolve is designed to make circular patterns or features, which is why we're using it for this specific purpose. You choose Revolve, and then you simply choose what you're going to revolve and what sort of center line you're going to revolve it around. So first, we click on the small loop we made earlier. Then you choose the axis option and click on this large line we drew. You'll now see that we actually make a circular pattern out of this. We can then just click OK. And we now have the part that we need. However, this is not the end for our cylinder. We're going to have to add some different attachment points so that we can actually attach it to the rest of the cylinder. First, we're going to want to make a new sketch. And we're going to want to place this on the same plane that we used earlier. So another plane that's perpendicular to the cylinder. However, we can't see very clear now. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click, and then we're going to select Slice Graphics. For those who like shortcuts, you can use F7 as well. Now what this does is it actually gives us a slice of the model. We can actually see through anything that's in front of our plane. This makes it easier to see things. You'll have to remember that we haven't actually removed anything, we can just see through it. So, now choose line. Or well, first we're going to project some geometry. We're going to project the bottom line. Then we're going to select line. And we're going to draw a line from the bottom line. We're going to draw it 30 millimeters straight up. We are then going to use the circle tool. So first, select the circle tool. Place it on the edge of the new line we drew, and then type in 34 millimeters. And then we can just finish the sketch. Now, we're going to extrude this, but we're not going to extrude this how we usually do it. First, we're going to select the loop. So we're going to select the circle we just drew. And you'll see that we now extrude it outside of the cylinder. This is not really what we want to achieve. So, you can try and pull it in, but you'll realize that however we do, we're still going to be left with a gap on either side of the cylinder. However, in these cases, it's usually easier to cut something away than to add something later. So we're just going to let it pop out a bit and cut that away later. However, we're going to choose to use some mode on extrude that's called symmetric. What this does is it actually makes it extrude in both directions at once, meaning that we can do this with a single extrusion instead of two separate ones. Just put it somewhere outside the cylinder and press OK. Now, those two large tubes that we actually got outside, we don't have to care about those. We'll fix those later. But now we're going to make another sketch. And we're going to have to choose exactly the same plane as we did earlier. So try and keep track of which planes you're actually placing these on. And then we're going to slice graphics again. And you'll now see that we have that cylinder in place. Project geometry on that cylinder. And then we're going to make a circle in the middle of that cylinder. And we're going to make it 20 millimeters. And then we can just finish the sketch. We're again going to extrude this one the same way we did the earlier. So click on the small central circle. And then we're going to have to choose the cut mode. So we're actually making a hole and not just another stick. And you'll see that it only does it in one direction. So we're going to have to choose symmetric again. And now we get a hole straight through the entirety of it. And then we just press OK. And we have a hole straight through the cylinder head. Now we're almost done with this. We're gonna make one last 2D sketch on the same plane as we did the previous two. Now that you've done this, just slice the graphics. And then choose Project Geometry and select the circle we've made. Then you can just finish the sketch. This is all we need. Then we simply extrude this one. And this time it's the outer one we want to extrude. However, this time we're not going to use just any distance. We're going to use 20 millimeters. And we're going to choose Cut and Symmetric. There we go. We now have where we'll actually be attaching the previously made parts of the piston. Now we're just going to cut away the excess. Choose 2D sketch again. And place it on top of the piston head. Then project the top of the piston head. And make another circle from the center of the piston head. And really, we can make this one how large we want, but I'm gonna set it at 600 millimeters, just to be entirely sure that we get rid of everything. Then you choose Finish Sketch. Extrude. Choose the outer circle. Set it to Cut. And simply drag it down over the entire cylinder. And then we're done. We have now successfully made the piston head. Now, we have one finishing touch left. We're gonna change the color of it to match the other parts of our piston. So, in my case, this is blue wall paint, glossy, but you can use any one you want. But I recommend you use the same one as you've used for the previous piston parts. Then we're done. Just save this to any location. Or well, preferably you can save it in the same place we saved the rest of the parts. My V8 and then piston. And then you name it piston head. Click Save. And we're now completely finished. Now, in the next video, we're gonna be making a screw, and after that, we're actually gonna assemble all of these pieces together. So, look forward to that, and, well, see ya, I guess.